Stop scrolling for a moment. This is not random. If you found this message today, it is because something inside you has been quietly asking a question. Have you noticed it? The repeating numbers. The sudden memory of someone you haven't spoken to in years, and then their name appears on your screen. A song comes on that answers a thought you didn't say out loud. A phrase keeps circling back to you from different mouths, different places, different days. And you pause. For a split second, you feel it. That subtle chill. That awareness that something is happening beneath the surface of ordinary life. You are not imagining it. What you are experiencing has a name. Carl Jung called it synchronicity, a meaningful coincidence with no direct causal link, yet filled with personal significance. Two events, unrelated in logic, connected in meaning. But here is what most people misunderstand. Synchronicity is not rare. It is constant. The universe is always speaking. The question is not whether signs are appearing. The question is whether you are listening. Right now, you may feel uncertain. Perhaps you are in transition. A relationship feels unclear. A decision lingers unfinished. A direction in your life feels foggy. And part of you is asking, am I missing something? Yes, you might be missing the signs. But you are here now, which means the awareness is waking up. The universe operates through structure, through rhythm, through timing. Today is not just another date. February carries the energy of quiet recalibration. The beginning of the year has passed its initial rush. The surface excitement has settled. What remains is subtle alignment. This is when the universe tests awareness, not through dramatic events, through whispers. You may see 1111 repeatedly, or 333. You may notice the same symbol appearing feathers, certain animals, particular colors. These are not magic tricks. They are mirrors. They appear when your internal state is synchronizing with external reality. Think of it like tuning a radio. The signal is always there. When your frequency matches it, clarity sharpens. Right now, many of you watching are being tested in one specific way. Not in action, in attention. The universe is observing how you respond to subtlety. Do you dismiss it? Do you brush it off as coincidence? Or do you pause and ask, what is this trying to show me? This phase is not about moving fast. It is about noticing. You may feel slightly restless, slightly curious, slightly unsettled. That is not anxiety. That is alignment recalibrating. Something is shifting beneath your awareness, and synchronicities are the first visible indicators. Perhaps you have been thinking about leaving something behind, an outdated habit, an old identity, a situation that no longer feels aligned. And suddenly you hear 3 separate conversations in 1 week about courage, about starting over, about choosing differently. That is not random. Synchronicity appears most intensely when you are at a crossroads, when your life is quietly asking you to evolve. The universe does not force. It reflects. And here is the deeper truth. Synchronicities increase when you are on the edge of growth. They cluster when you are close to a breakthrough. But they also appear before mistakes, gentle warnings disguised as coincidence. Have you ever ignored a sign and later realized it was guidance? A gut feeling you dismissed? A repeated symbol you overlooked? The universe is patient, but it does not shout immediately. It whispers first. Many of you are entering a phase where restraint is more powerful than reaction. You may feel tempted to force answers, to demand clarity, but this is not that season. This is the season of observation. The universe is watching how you respond, not how fast you move. You are being shown patterns, the same type of person appearing in different forms, the same lesson repeating under different circumstances, the same internal trigger surfacing in new environments. That repetition is a sign. Synchronicity is not always pleasant. Sometimes it is uncomfortable because it reveals what you have not wanted to see. A conversation that exposes a truth, an encounter that mirrors your fear, a moment that makes you pause longer than you expected. Pay attention to what lingers. The signs are not meant to control you. They are meant to awaken you. When you start noticing them, your life stops feeling random. It begins to feel structured, intentional, guided. And here is something profound. The moment you begin to believe you're being guided, guidance increases. Awareness amplifies alignment. If you are watching this right now and thinking, this feels strangely personal, that is synchronicity in motion. The timing matters. Your state of mind matters. The fact that this message found you matters. The universe does not operate in chaos. It operates in rhythm, seasons, cycles. You are currently in a cycle of subtle recalibration, not dramatic transformation, not loud disruption, but quiet realignment. You may feel as though life has slowed slightly, as though you are in between chapters. That is intentional. In between chapters is where synchronicities become visible. When you are not distracted by constant motion, you can finally see the breadcrumbs. And yes, they are breadcrumbs. Small, repeated, gentle, leading somewhere. But here is the warning. Do not become obsessive. Synchronicity is not about hunting signs. It is about noticing them naturally. When you chase them, you distort them. When you relax, they appear effortlessly. Right now, the universe is testing discernment. Not every coincidence is a command. Some are confirmations. Some are cautions. Some are simply reminders that you are connected to something larger. The key is your internal response. When something happens and you feel a quiet stillness, pay attention. When something happens and your body tenses, pay attention. Your intuition is the interpreter. Many of you have been ignoring your intuition, overriding it with logic, dismissing it as imagination. But synchronicity activates intuition like a spark. That sudden knowing, that unexplainable certainty, that pause, that is your signal. You are not lost. You are being guided through subtlety. And this phase, early 2026, is not about proving anything. It is about perceiving. The universe is revealing patterns in your life that have been present for years. You are only now ready to see them. So tonight, when you notice something unusual, don't brush it aside. When a number repeats, pause. When someone says exactly what you needed to hear, listen fully. The whispers are increasing. In the next chapter, we will decode the breadcrumbs themselves, the numbers, the symbols, the unexpected encounters, and understand what they are actually pointing toward in your life right now. Take a breath with me, because this is where it becomes personal. You are not just noticing signs. You are standing inside a pattern that has been forming around you for months. Synchronicities are not random flashes. They cluster. They repeat. They intensify when you are nearing alignment or resisting it. And right now, in February 2026, many of you are experiencing a noticeable increase. Let us decode what is actually happening. First, the numbers. You glance at the clock and it reads 11:11. Later that day, your receipt totals $33.30. The next morning, you wake up at 3:33 without setting an alarm. It feels subtle, almost playful, but it lingers. Numbers are structure. The universe speaks through structure. Repeating numbers are signals of alignment, windows moments when your internal, frequency, and external reality briefly synchronize. 11:11 often appears when awareness is expanding. It is not about making a wish. It is about waking up. It surfaces when you are becoming conscious of your own patterns. 3:33 tends to appear when creative energy or communication is trying to move through you. It can signal that you are being encouraged to express something you have been holding back. But here is the deeper truth. The meaning is not universal. It is personal. The sign matters less than your reaction to it. When you see a repeating number, what were you just thinking? What decision were you considering? What emotion were you feeling? That context is the code. Now let us move beyond numbers. Have you noticed recurring symbols? Perhaps birds appearing repeatedly, or a specific animal crossing your path more than usual. Maybe you keep encountering references to water, or doors, or bridges. Symbols represent themes. If bridges keep appearing in your awareness, conversations about bridges, images of bridges, dreams of crossing, you may be in transition. If doors appear repeatedly, you may be facing opportunity or closure. If water becomes symbolic in your environment, emotional recalibration may be occurring. Again, the symbol is less important than the pattern. And then there are the encounters, the ones that feel charged. You think about someone you have unresolved tension with, and they appear unexpectedly. You consider a career shift, and suddenly 3 separate people mention opportunities in that field within the same week. You question your worth, and a stranger compliments the exact quality you doubted. These are not accidents. They are mirrors. Synchronicity often arrives through other people because human interaction is the most powerful reflective surface. The universe uses proximity to deliver clarity. Right now, some of you are encountering the same personality type repeatedly. Different faces, same energy. This is not punishment. It is a lesson looping. The universe is asking, have you learned what this pattern is trying to teach? Be honest with yourself. If a certain dynamic keeps reappearing, perhaps emotionally unavailable individuals, perhaps authority figures who challenge you, perhaps friendships that test boundaries, this is not coincidence. This is refinement. You are being shown where your growth edge exists. Now let us talk about the subtler signs. The song that answers your question. The phrase you overhear in a cafe that feels like it was spoken directly to you. The book that falls off a shelf open to a specific page. These are micro-synchronicities, and they are powerful because they bypass logic. When something feels like it pierced through the noise of your day and landed directly in your awareness, that is the aha moment. That is alignment peeking through. But here is where caution matters. Not every coincidence is destiny. The ego wants everything to be dramatic. The soul prefers clarity. This current phase is not about chasing mystical experiences. It is about disciplined noticing. There is something quietly aligning in your life right now. You may not see the full picture yet, but the breadcrumbs are forming a line, and they are pointing toward one of three themes: release, responsibility, or renewal. Release means something has completed its cycle. You may be seeing repeated signs around endings, old memories resurfacing, closure conversations appearing unexpectedly. The universe is preparing you to let go. Responsibility means you are being called to step forward. Repeated encouragement, unexpected validation, conversations about leadership. You are being tested on whether you will own your next level. Renewal means you are entering fresh territory. Synchronicities may feel lighter, playful, serendipitous. They signal new pathways opening. Which of these resonates most with your current season? Pause. Because the answer you just felt, not thought, but felt, that is your compass. Right now, the universe is not asking you to rush. It is asking you to recognize there is a difference. You may feel impatient. You may want a clear, dramatic sign telling you exactly what to do. But this is not that type of cycle. This is refinement, precision, subtle recalibration. The universe is observing how you respond to small guidance before and trusting you with larger direction. If you ignore the small nudges, the nudges grow louder. Not to scare you, to protect you. There is also something important to avoid in this season: projection. Do not force meaning where there is none. If you are anxious, you will interpret everything as warning. If you are overly hopeful, you will interpret everything as confirmation. Neutral awareness is power. When you notice a synchronicity, ask calmly, what does this reflect about my current state? What question was I holding? What fear was present? What desire was surfacing? The sign amplifies whatever is already within you. And here is something many do not realize. Synchronicity increases when you are close to making a decision that alters your trajectory. They cluster around turning points. If your life feels slightly intensified lately, conversations deeper than usual, emotions sharper than expected, memories resurfacing unexpectedly, you are likely near a pivot. This is not the moment to panic. It is the moment to pay attention. The universe is not testing your speed. It is testing your discernment. In the next chapter, we will explore why this phenomenon is not just spiritual poetry, but also reflected in science, how consciousness, energy, and interconnected systems reveal that synchronicity is not fantasy. It is structure operating beyond our immediate perception. And when you understand that bridge between science and spirit, your trust deepens. Now we go deeper, because at some point, the rational mind begins to ask, is this real? Or am I just seeing patterns because I want to? That question is healthy. Doubt is not the enemy of spirituality. It is the refinement of it. Synchronicity is not about abandoning logic. It is about expanding it. Carl Jung did not describe synchronicity as superstition. He described it as a causal connecting principle, meaning two events can be linked, not by physical cause, but by meaning. And meaning is not random. Meaning emerges from consciousness. Now pause with that word, consciousness. Modern physics has revealed something extraordinary. At the quantum level, Particles that were once connected remain connected, even when separated by vast distances. This is called quantum entanglement. Change one particle and the other responds instantly. No visible bridge, no obvious pathway, but connection remains. What if consciousness operates similarly? What if you are not an isolated being moving randomly through space, but a node in a vast interconnected field? What if your thoughts, emotions, and intentions subtly interact with this field? When you begin to consider that possibility, synchronicity no longer feels mystical. It feels structural. There is also the concept of the collective unconscious, Jung's idea that beneath our individual minds exists a shared reservoir of archetypes, symbols, and inherited knowledge, a deeper layer of awareness we all participate in, whether we realize it or not. Have you ever had a dream filled with symbols you never consciously studied, yet they carried profound meaning? Have you ever felt drawn to a place you've never been, or experienced a sense of familiarity with someone you just met? That is shared pattern recognition at work. Your intuition is not random instinct. It is pattern recognition happening below conscious thought. Your mind processes thousands of signals per second. Most of them never reach conscious awareness, but occasionally something rises. A feeling, a knowing, a pause. And when an external event aligns with that internal signal, you experience synchronicity. This is where spirit and science begin to overlap. The universe is not chaotic. It operates through systems, through feedback loops, through resonance. When two frequencies align, resonance occurs. When your internal frequency, your thoughts, emotions, focus aligns with external conditions, synchronicities increase, not because the universe suddenly noticed you, but because you tuned in. Right now, many of you are in a state of heightened sensitivity. You may feel more aware than usual, more reflective, perhaps slightly more emotional. That is not weakness. That is tuning. Early 2026 carries a collective energy of recalibration. After intense global and personal shifts over the past few years, people are reassessing priorities, values, direction, and when collective consciousness shifts, individual awareness sharpens. You are not separate from the larger movement. If you have been feeling like something invisible is reorganizing your life behind the scenes, you are not wrong. Patterns are restructuring. Relationships are repositioning. Opportunities are aligning quietly. But here is the crucial part. Synchronicity does not remove responsibility. It enhances it. The universe may present alignment, but you must respond. And this is where many people misunderstand signs. They expect them to carry them. But signs are invitations, not guarantees. You see 1111 while thinking about starting something new. That is not the universe promising success. It is the universe highlighting awareness. It is asking, are you conscious of what you are choosing? You repeatedly encounter conversations about boundaries while struggling in a draining relationship. That is not fate intervening. It is feedback. Synchronicity is feedback from the field of consciousness you participate in. And here is something grounded and important. The brain is wired to detect patterns. This is called apophenia. We are naturally inclined to connect dots. But what distinguishes synchronicity from mere pattern seeking is emotional resonance. When a coincidence carries emotional charge, when it stops you, when it lingers, when it feels layered that is different from casual pattern recognition, your body responds before your logic does. That subtle stillness, that brief silence in your mind, that shift in breathing. Pay attention to your physiology. Your intuition communicates through it. Right now, the universe is not testing your belief. It is testing your balance. Can you hold spirituality and discernment at the same time? Can you trust your intuition without abandoning reason? This is maturity in consciousness. Some of you have been swaying between extremes, either dismissing all signs as imagination or interpreting every event as destiny. Neither is alignment. Alignment is grounded awareness. This phase is not about grand spiritual awakening. It is about integration, bringing insight into practical life. If you notice repeated encouragement toward a goal, take practical steps. Research, plan, prepare. If you notice repeated discomfort around a situation, address it calmly. Communicate, adjust. Synchronicity without action becomes fantasy. Action without awareness becomes chaos. You are being asked to merge both. There is also something quietly aligning beneath your fear. You may feel hesitant about a decision, unsure whether you are ready. The universe is not asking you to leap blindly. It is asking you to prepare consciously. Notice the difference. This phase isn't about dramatic movement. It is about internal alignment before external motion. The universe is watching how you respond to subtle clarity. If you respond with patience, clarity increases. If you respond with impulsiveness, confusion multiplies. You are being refined. And here is something prophetic but grounded. The signs will intensify before your next shift. Not to pressure you, to confirm that you are approaching a threshold. When repetition increases, a pivot is near. Do not rush toward it. Observe it. Prepare for it. In the next chapter, we move into practical application, because awareness without implementation changes nothing. I will guide you through how to actively observe synchronicities, interpret them responsibly, and act in alignment without losing balance. This is where life stops feeling random and begins feeling guided, not by control, but by conscious participation. Now we arrive at the part that separates observers from participants, because awareness alone changes nothing. You can notice every repeating number. You can recognize every symbolic encounter. You can feel every intuitive nudge. But if you do not respond with grounded action, synchronicity becomes entertainment instead of transformation. Right now, in this precise window of early 2026, the universe is not asking for speed. It is asking for alignment. There is a difference. Alignment begins with observation. The first practice is simple but powerful. Active noticing. Not obsessive scanning. Calm awareness. When something unusual repeats, pause. Do not immediately interpret it. Just register it. Create space between the event and your reaction. Most people rush to label signs, but interpretation requires stillness. Start logging them. A small journal. A note in your phone. Date it. February 8th, 2026. What were you thinking when the number appeared? What decision was forming when the unexpected conversation happened? What emotion was rising when the song came on? Over time, patterns will reveal themselves. and the pattern matters more than the single event. You may notice that synchronicities cluster around one specific area of your life: relationships, career, self-worth, creativity. That cluster is not random. That is where alignment is being refined. And here is what is being tested right now: your restraint. You may feel urgency, a desire to act immediately when you perceive a sign. But this phase is not about impulsive leaps. It is about calibrated response. This phase isn't about action. It's about restraint. The universe is watching how you respond, not how fast you move. If guidance feels unclear, wait. If clarity repeats consistently over weeks, prepare. If confirmation appears calmly and steadily, proceed thoughtfully. There is wisdom in pacing. Now let us talk about interpretation. When you journal a synchronicity, ask 3 grounded questions. First, what was I feeling before this occurred? Second, what question was active in my mind? Third, what would a calm, balanced version of me interpret this as? Notice that last question carefully. A calm version of you, not the fearful version, not the overly hopeful version. Calm awareness, because fear distorts signs into warnings. Desire distorts signs into promises. Balance reveals them as guidance. Many of you right now are being guided toward release. Something has completed its lesson. The repetition you are seeing is closure knocking gently. But closure requires maturity. It requires you to let go without resentment. Others of you are being guided toward responsibility. You have been receiving encouragement repeatedly. Opportunities brushing near you. Compliments about qualities you undervalue. This is not coincidence. This is preparation. You are being invited to step forward, but not recklessly, prepared. And some of you are entering renewal. New faces, new ideas, new environments appearing almost playfully. That lightness you feel? That is alignment opening. But avoid this mistake. Do not announce your shift prematurely. Let it stabilize quietly first. Energy strengthens in privacy before it thrives in exposure. Living in flow does not mean surrendering discipline. It means cooperating with timing. The universe operates in seasons. Seeds are not harvested the day they are planted. Right now, many of you are in the cultivation stage. The signs you are seeing are not the harvest. They are indicators that growth is underground. Trust that unseen work. You may not have dramatic proof yet. You may not have visible results. But something subtle is aligning. Conversations are positioning you. Experiences are refining you. Even delays are protecting you. Especially the delays. If something has not moved forward despite your effort, consider this. Sometimes synchronicity appears not as acceleration, but as interruption. A canceled plan. A postponed meeting. A miscommunication that prevents a decision. That, too, is guidance. The universe does not always say yes loudly. Sometimes it says not yet through subtle redirection. Do not confuse delay with denial. Right now, impatience is the energy to avoid. Comparison is the energy to avoid. Obsession is the energy to avoid. What is being quietly aligned requires steadiness. Build daily practices that keep you centered. 5 minutes of silence in the morning. A brief reflection at night. Gratitude without exaggeration. Discipline without rigidity. Flow increases when your internal state is regulated. And here is the deeper transformation. When you begin living synchronistically, life feels less chaotic. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin asking, "What is this showing me?" That shift changes everything. You are not a victim of random events. You are a participant in a responsive universe. But participation requires humility. It requires listening more than demanding, observing more than forcing. As we move further into 2026, collective energy will accelerate. Decisions will surface. Opportunities will appear clearer. But this current window, this subtle February recalibration, is preparation. Preparation is sacred. If you honor this stage with patience, the next stage will feel effortless. If you rush it, the next stage will feel chaotic. Choose steadiness. Tonight, before you sleep, reflect on the last 7 days. What repeated? What lingered? What felt strangely timed? Do not overanalyze. Simply notice. The universe is not trying to impress you. It is trying to align you. And if you are hearing this message and feeling that quiet recognition, that subtle, internal nod, understand this. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are not disconnected. You are being guided through subtlety because you are ready for nuance. Some people require loud disruption to awaken. You are being entrusted with whispers. That is maturity. But remember, guidance without courage changes nothing. When clarity becomes consistent, move. When confirmation becomes calm, step forward. When relief becomes obvious, let go. Not dramatically, not angrily, quietly. Alignment is rarely loud. As you move through the coming weeks, watch how repetition intensifies before resolution. That is your sign that a threshold is near. Do not panic at intensity. It means transition is close. And when that moment comes, you will recognize it, because you have been practicing awareness. You are not chasing the universe. You are synchronizing with it. If this message found you at the exact moment you needed reassurance, reflect on that. Timing matters. Awareness matters. Your presence here matters. Share this with someone who has been questioning their path. Subscribe to Celestial Insight if you are ready to live consciously rather than reactively. Because this channel is not about prediction. It is about perception. And as you move forward from this moment, remember this quietly powerful truth. This moment will make sense later.